So back on site today over at the Cantigny Park project, and we are in full force. We got a dozen of us here. We have Aqua Landscape over here. We got New England Aquatic Landscaping back behind me. We're collaborating, we're coming together. We're gonna try to work on this project, doing some really cool stuff out here today. We're gonna continue going with all of our boulders that we started yesterday, but we're also doing the intake bay as well as the wetland filter. We're back on site and we have a full team out here today, getting ready for our heavy duty fabric to go down in the bottom, getting some of the last minute stuff taken care of over here. We're gonna get that heavy fabric down in the bottom. Once that's all padded up, we will come in with our rubber liner, which is gonna be located over here, cover everything up, and then we could start positioning stone. First layer of heavy fabric is in place, so everything looks good. We covered everything up. This is an important piece of the puzzle here. So this is that heavy duty geotextile. Really tough, durable material. What it does is, so you can see this ground, it's all compacted junk. We got rock, we got gravel, we got all types of nasty stuff in here because this was an old construction area. So this material is going to help to give us the necessary padding for it. Now we're going to go over the top of it with our 30 by 100 liner. So that'll give us enough to go all the way from the intake, actually past this. We're going to end up digging a little bit past this to create a little bit of a stream. So that'll give us a little bit of flexibility over here. Nice warm day, and it's a perfect day to be underneath the liner. So Nelson had to crawl under over here to grab some rocks and stuff that had fallen in while we were dragging everything in place. So not a fun job. Rock placement is coming along, working our way all the way around this edge. We're going to make our way to this corner. Scott just brought us some big boulders. He's dumping them back over here behind those behind that berm. He's going to start shuffling them over in the skid steer. The bigger stone are going to come on this peninsula right here. We're making good progress here. We got this little section done. This part here is pretty cool. And this is not supposed to be a solid wall. We're going to try to get river stone and cobbles going in between that. We're trying to create different elevations for different types of aquatic vegetation. The other thing that we're looking at is coming in with some big tree branches and stuff like that. So I'd love to get some logs and things on this backside just so we can create that big screen of aquatic vegetation. This area back over in here, we're going to try to raise the elevation. So remember, the whole idea with this design is to recreate that northern Illinois geology. So having the drumlins and the eskers, so these are all geographical geology terms and geography terms, actually, both of them. And it's all from glaciation. So it just kind of creates this beautiful sinewy type of a rolling landscape. It's really, really cool. So we're going to have it kind of pop up here, drop back down over here where the stream is going to enter in. Wetland's going to be here, stream's going to come in between, pop back up again for elevation, maybe make like more of a came. So a came is more like a really kind of a peaked kind of a hill structure. And then we'll drop back down over in here, and that's going to be that non-glaciated area up on the top. Over down in this section, we're waiting for those big boulders, and while we do that, the other guys are over here getting the Aqua Blocks ready. So we're making small Aqua Blocks for the wetland filter. So this is our water distribution system. This is going to be that sedimentation chamber. Nice hollow chamber, allows for good mixture of water. The big Aqua Blocks over in here, those are going to go inside of the intake bay, which is going to be the pre-filter for the entire feature. Juan is set up over here. He's going to start doing our excavation for the wetland filter. We're digging out this, and we have to build up this back elevation a little bit. So he's going to start building that elevation up a bit, and then we're going to kind of taper our way back this way. Remember, this wetland filter is pretty oversized for a project of this scale. And the reason being is because of the public nature of the project, the beautiful gardens. We want to make sure that we have pristine water quality. So we're going to have a big 20-foot by 20-foot wetland area that's going to be 4 feet deep. Snorkel, centipede, Aqua Blocks, all that river rock going in here. And I will show you more of that once we get to that point. So Jay is working on leveling out some of the river stone down here in the bottom. That's going to be the bedding material for some of the flat rocks that we're going to put in. Remember, the design of this is going to be highly interactive. We have a lot of people walking in and around this site. We're going to have bridges coming across, stepping stones, and this area over here is one of those key viewing areas. So what we're going to try to do is create a big, large outcropping area of using some of this flat stone that they have. This is also beautiful native limestone. So we're trying to stick with the theme of working with that local geology here of Illinois. So we're going to use some of that beautiful stone. We're going to create this nice little outcropping platform area. Flat rocks are going in. Jay is kind of leveling out to all that smaller stone on the bottom, coming in, dropping in these ones. Not worried about the joints over here in the back. We'll fill all that material in with more gravel. The only part I'm really worried about is this front edge and making sure it's level side to side. So when we come in with our next big rock, we'll cover that joint, and then it will kind of taper its way back into that edge. All right, bringing in some big slabs for the top edge. So we're going to continue working our way from those bottom ones up into that edge, and then there's actually going to be a walkway. So right where the blade here is on the machine, that's going to be nice and smooth coming off of that. So all the visitors coming into the garden could actually come in, they could walk around, look at all the sites, come over by the edge of the pond, they'll be able to stand, look over that deep section where the fish are going to be located, and then from there they'll look all the way up the entire length of the water feature. All right, out here with Roy from Aqua Landscapes and his team. We are getting ready to do the intake bay. Just checked everything nice and level down here on the bottom, and now we're going to come in and we just marked out the area for our pump vaults. So here's our pump vault. Remember, when these get installed, the way these are designed, very simple. You have this little foot right here. This is going to get recessed down into the bottom of the pond. So this edge right here is going to be level with the floor of the pond, and then the pumps. And the reason we do that is it creates a sump area. A sump area is a lower area where a pump could be located. So that allows us access to all the water that's inside of the vault. So liner's just been pulled in place. Remember, we have that heavy fabric on the bottom, rubber liner, another layer of the fabric is going to go on top of that, which we're going to go cut. We are setting all of our big rocks over here on that edge. Wetland construction continues to happen over here. Get everything excavated, and then we are moving materials around. Oh yeah, look at that. That is awesome. Big old tree that's going to go in on that back side. It's really going to make a huge impact over in that area. We're going to plant around it with all types of aquatic vegetation. It's going to look beautiful. That is a nice piece of oak. A little bit of a traffic jam here on the job site. We have excavation happening for our wetland filter. Skid steer came in to move boulders. We got the arborists are coming in with some beautiful logs for us. We're cutting fabric for our intake bay. We got rocks being set over on the far edge, and we got gravel going in as well. All right, Roy's putting in some panels in between. What that's going to do is going to give us a little bit of space in between the vaults, so you can get the lids on and off, as well as put the extensions on top. So the Aqua Blocks are in, so they're nice level, everything's looking good. We backfilled around the outside perimeter with a little bit of soil. Now we're going to come in with our 1.5 inch gravel. We're going to top it off a little bit. You can see the liner's down about 6 inches from that edge. This side over here we couldn't reach with backfill, so that's going to be 100% gravel. So Sean just positioned the machine. We are going to strap that up, bring it out over this, and start opening that stuff up. Roy is cutting another piece of fabric to cover up all the liner. Juan keeps doing the excavation for our wetland. Aqua Blocks are being built for the wetland, and we're working on some of the flat stones around this outside perimeter still. So a lot of things happening this morning. Aqua Blocks are being backfilled. We got everything back in place. Gravel went around the outside perimeter. Now we're going over the top with a layer of the 1.5 inch. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start setting boulders over in here as well. So we got the machine position. They're going to shuffle some rocks over here for us, and then we'll be able to set this entire corner. Dirt removal is happening. I shouldn't say removal. We are shifting dirt over to here. We just moved all the boulders out of the way. Now we're taking the soil that we dug out from the wetland filter. We're going to build that up to the appropriate elevation. This is the area where there's going to be the waterfall. This is going to start everything out. This is going to be the highest elevation that we have to create some cascading waterfalls coming down. Over on this side, we have wetland just about completed. So they're kind of getting everything ready for the snorkels and centipedes. Digging out all those trenches to recess the centipedes down below everything. And the reason we're doing that is to allow very efficient water transfer as well as sediment removal. So I will talk about that once we get that stuff in there a little bit further. The excavation is complete. So now just going through, fine tuning, making sure it's nice and level, removing all that loose material out of the bottom. You can see they have these big long trenches in here. That's going to accept the centipedes and the snorkel. Snorkels are going to go in this deep end here. All of our plumbing is going to come in from that far side. So we have our pump vault down over here. Remember, that's our intake bay. Piping is going to all come down this edge, and then it will disperse down into here. It'll branch off into the jets, and it will also go to the waterfall, which is going to be over in that section. Right now, everything is looking good. Looking forward to getting all those components in here by the end of the day. Fabric's down, liner's going in now. Next step will be another layer of the fabric over the top of that for protection. Then 96 Aqua Blocks, 2 snorkels, 6 centipedes, and about 35 ton of gravel, which is right on time. So we got everything in place, rubber liner, fabric. Now our snorkel centipedes are going in. Remember, this is the critical piece of the puzzle. So this is going to allow for the appropriate water distribution. We're going to have fast moving water coming in on the one end. Water is going to distribute itself evenly throughout the centipede units. You can see they have like slots in the side of them. So those actually slots have 231 square inches of open space, which allows for a flow rate of 1 gallon of water per second maximum. On top of that, it'll be all Aqua Blocks. 96 small Aqua Blocks. Project update. We got some concrete here, so we're going to pour some concrete for the footings for the bridge going across over here, kind of filling in between the bigger rocks with some smaller chunks and things like that, just to kind of level everything off and kind of lock it all in place. This big outcropping is looking really good. The whole idea with this, go back to that original design of you know, the glaciation period that came through, leveled everything out, changed the entire landscape of Illinois, but it created some really unique forms. So I love what they've done over here in the background, which ties exactly into what we're thinking of doing. So what we want to do is, you see this little bermed area right over in here, we're going to wrap that pull in towards the pond, right towards this peninsula over here. So that'll give us a little bit of elevation change, kind of separating some of these different areas out. So one team is working on that. We're actually getting ready to kind of shift over. Bryce is over here kind of fixing up some of the liner, pulling out some of the stuff that had fallen behind the liner, and we're going to get ready to strap in that big log over here. So we're going to try to position that log over in this section for all the aquatic vegetation. Over on this side, Juan and his team are putting in a large kind of grouping of stone over here to get a little bit more elevation change. Again, we're trying to tie in some of these forms from one side to the other. We don't want a big flat landscape here. We want lots of little knolls and rolling hills and things like that. And then it will go up, drop down to water, pop back up, dip down over here where that walkway is going to be, come back up over here behind the tree, drop back down over where the stream is going to be, pop up over here where the wetland's at, another little mound over here, waterfall in between. So lots and lots of really cool things that are happening here, and there's going to be a lot of earth shaping, you know, once we're done with our stonework, to kind of mimic that design concept. So we got the log positioned where we want it. We did have to trim a little piece off of here just to drop it down a little bit, but that made a big difference. So now that log just kind of dives down below water, which is kind of the goal. That's what I was looking for. Guys are bringing in a little bit of plywood. We're going to make a ramp, come in here to pour our concrete. We're going to fill in behind that big log and that void space back there with some more crushed rock, and then we'll top it off with the river stone so we can start getting the planting media for our aquatic plants. Concrete's going in for our footings, log in place, backfilling behind it with all the small river rock. That's going to create the planting medium for the aquatic vegetation we're going to have in the back edge. We just set this beautiful character stone over on the one corner here. Again, we're supposed to be transitioning from that boulder type of a look down in this section into more flat, craggy type rock going upstream. Again, mimicking a little bit what happens in nature. I'm going to pull the strap off. We just positioned this as going to be stepping stones coming in on this left side, and they're going to kind of cut their way across kind of towards that log over in here. So that's going to get shallower as we go that way. That little offshoot that we created over there, that's only about 5 inches deep, so that'll just be shallow, fast moving water kind of racing through that little section. Now we're getting ready to strap up this other large character stone over on this side. So the guys are getting that strapped up. Really nice character on that one. That is going to kind of split the two streams. So we want that rock to be right on this side because it has tons and tons of character. So big rock right here, splitting everything. Stepping stones kind of weaving their way in between, and then we'll have another stream entry right over here.